Let's start with the most basic premise. Love is all there is. There's only love, there's nothing but love, and love is the only true basis of the reality. To say true is even to say too much, because there's only love. There isn't true and untrue. There isn't love and something else. There is just love. Over the course of our time together, we're going to come to the experience, not just the theoretical understanding, but to the actual experience that love is all there is. Because if love is all there is, there must be the experience of it. The universal experience of love. There's just one universal experience. This is it. So, how do we arrive at this understanding? At this direct seeing? At the confidence and the conviction and the true living experience? The true living word of love. How is this possible? Sometimes it just kind of flashes across your screen of consciousness and there's nothing you can do about it. And other times it sort of calls you from the inside. It sort of beckons you. And it's with this beckoning that we're going to work with. So let's start with one of the blocks or impediments or barriers to the recognition of the presence of love in this moment. The number one block, number one barrier is judgment. I judge everything according to my own set of beliefs, programs, filters, whatever. Everything that I look at, I look around and I relate it to me. What does it mean about me? What does it mean about my status, my relationship, my likes and dislikes? And the entire field of consciousness, the entire field of experience is permeated by this pigment of, or figment also, of our imagination. It's like looking through the colored glasses of delusion. And I see the world as it is related to me. The great delusion is that there is no me, there's only love. So, how to arrive at the experience? One way is for us to disassemble judgment. And there's 3 ways to do this. Whenever you experience judgment, it's very obvious to you because you right away go from feeling open to closed, from relaxation to constriction. The first way to approach this, the first way to dissolve judgment is through prayer. Whenever you're judging something, whenever you're judging a situation or yourself or another or me or anything in the experience, it doesn't matter what it is, it's all one. Because it's all one, it doesn't matter in which direction the judgment is aimed, it will always hit you. Because you are that one love. And so, how to dissolve judgment through prayer? In the Bible, it says, pray for your enemies. Now, this is a magnificent tip, a magnificent hint. When we get into this state of judgment, and we recognize it, all of a sudden, bam, we're here. I don't want to judge, and now you're judging yourself for judging. And you get into this ego game because you're in a sphere of influence that is self-confirming. When you are entering into the world of judgment, it's like a bubble that doesn't let you out. So under your own power, there's no way to escape it. But by calling upon truth and love through prayer, you can definitely escape it. So, how to pray for your enemies? The enemy is anything you have judged. It could be the cat, it could be the person, it could be the situation, it could be that you lost money, it could be some event, it doesn't matter. How to pray? You just take the stance of love. Just imagine. So let's say that there is this date that I was really looking forward to. And all of a sudden, that idea breaks down. It's not working. And I feel all of a sudden, oh, this is horrible. I really wanted that. And it's not happening. Why isn't it happening? How do I fix it? How do I get back at it? How do I... And that's you happening in your bubble of delusion. And in that moment, you just face in your consciousness directly towards this experience that is so horrible, and you pray for it and you say, may only the very best come out of it. If it's a person, you say, may you be successful. May you be blessed and surrounded by the love of God. May you be always in peace. May you be always whole and happy. May you be surrounded by friends that love you. May everywhere you go, people shower you with love. May they see the heart of Christ in you. May they see the purity and perfection of God, of divinity in you. And you just stream this this stream of prayer and aim it into the heart of whatever it is that has unsettled you. And you will know when you're complete, because you will feel ecstatic. Connect with that true living love, and the experience will speak for itself. It will give you that conviction that at any time you can overcome anything by returning to love. So if there's at any moment a sense of confusion, you don't know what to do, you don't know which way to go, you're stuck, turn to love. It takes zero time, zero effort, and only your willingness. So you turn back to love and you take its stance, and within moments you're going to recognize that, oh, wow. Love is all there is. Okay, now the second approach. The second approach to judgment is through humor. Through humor, this is more of an intellectual approach where you just for a moment pause and recognize what's happening. Just for a moment pause and realize that this judgment, let's say there's a person and you've judged them, oh, that's such an ugly person, oh, she's so fat, and then you, oh my God, I'm spiritual, I'm not supposed to judge, or I want to be loved, I'm not supposed to judge. You just in the moment pause and reflect upon that judgment. And you have to develop a sense of humor to be able to do this. But you sort of stand apart from your experience and you look at the petty isolation that the ego is experiencing. The complete arbitrariness of the judgment based on completely arbitrary values. Using even words that are entirely made up. What does fat even mean? It refers to nothing. It's just really a sound. And if you can take it there, if you can stand enough apart from the experience, enough apart from the meaning that you've given to the experience, it becomes hilarious, incredibly hilarious, how we can get so attached to a word and a meaning that we've projected onto the experience and then feel so horrible about it. That when this hits you, even if you catch a glimpse, it begins to dissolve. You see, oh God, Lord, I have completely lost my mind. Save me. And you'll be saved. You will be saved. And the third and final way we're going to look at dissolving judgment is another way through the intellect. And this is to recognize that surely my understanding of reality is flawed. Surely there is a much greater, we can call it purpose to this experience than my own interpretation and judgment and attack on it. This again takes a presence of mind and enough detachment or unattachment to the experience to be able to stand apart from your emotion and the meaning you've ascribed to it, and to just see for a split second. It doesn't take more than this, but it needs to be fully embodied. You need to fully commit to it for that split second. To stand apart and recognize that I truly know nothing. There's nothing that I know about this person or situation or experience or myself or that thought or that emotion. My amount of knowledge, all it really amounts to is, quite honestly, a bunch of babble. In the great sphere of divine and universal intelligence, my interpretation of experience is at best completely irrelevant, and at worst it is self-destructive. And if you're feeling constricted, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated, any of these, it's self-destructive. So this approach then to become really and fully, powerfully experienced needs to be combined with surrender. It is one thing to recognize, oh, surely I don't know anything, but he's still a jerk. That doesn't change how I feel. The way that it's going to change how you feel is that when you recognize that and you're willing to give it up. You recognize that this pile of manure does not smell so good. I thought it was something else, but I smell it and it's not what I wanted. I'm willing to give it up. And then in that moment you give it up. How? Like this. you hand it over to God. You hand it over to the Holy Spirit, to Christ, to your higher self, to the higher power, whatever it is that you want to call it. Truly it is love. Truly it is that one thing that is. And there is no second to it. So to that one thing, to that universal intelligence, divine ness, you give that up. You say, I've made a mistake. I've been mistaken. Please alleviate me of this burden. I would gladly rest it and leave it in your hands. So you say this with devotion. You say this with meaning, purpose, willingness, sincerity. There. You say it with sincerity. You say it with a complete abandon, like a complete trust. Like when a child asks something of an adult, like, what does that mean? What is this thing? Oh, this is a chair, and this is what you do with it. Or this is a paintbrush, and this is what you do with it. Oh. And the child accepts that at face value, no doubt about it. No conversation about whether it's a chair or not, no ifs, ands, or buts, but at complete face value. And in that sincerity and innocence, you just say, my God, I've been mistaken. Lord, please take this. And you release it. And another video will look more deeply into what it means to surrender and what the surrender technique is like. But for now, you can use a visualization and you can just imagine this burden, whatever it was, this judgment, as a ball of energy. Or as a let's leave it as a ball of energy. And just imagine in your mind's eye that you lift it up and you just release it and it floats into the hands or into the field of divine intelligence or of love, where it dissolves completely and you are completely forgiven.